You destroyed his life.
No,
For fun.
Adam, no,
Yeah,
I
you did.
didn't. I'm gonna be real. No one was talking about Chingy at that time. I actually made the world start talking about him again. But I became a warm-hearted, good person in my soul. I apologize. I tried to make things right.
That's gonna come back on them.
Now, a reality TV star is now facing multiple felony charges in Fulton County, accused of sex crimes involving a child. Hapeville police arrested Sidney Favors yesterday at the Embassy Suites. This is just minutes away from the airport. Officers say that her arrest is now tied to a sexual assault involving a child under the age of 16. Favors is better known by her TV personality, Sidney Starr. She has been a cast member of Love and Hip Hop New York and Baddies ATL.
So how do you feel about the government or whatever putting transgender women into male facilities? How do you feel about it?
So I'm going to the female facility. Bless you. I'm going to the female facility. Bless you. I'm going to the female facility. Bless you.
Well, Sidney Starr finds himself in a male facility in Fulton County. And what for that, you might ask? And to be held without bond. He committed the worst atrocity that you can commit, and it was a sexual crime towards a male child under the age of 16. 16. Let that sink in.
16.
And so these charges are laid out in a search warrant tied to an incident that happened at an embassy suite that's in Hapeville, Georgia on August 2nd. So according to the warrant, Sidney Starr allegedly attempted to act on the sexual encounter and reportedly stated that it was consensual. Yes, you heard me right. They stated that they had a consensual interaction with a kid under 16. And this matter is because it's taking advantage of a kid when you know you have the upper hand. You know, a lot of abusers tell children that they're going to harm them or harm their family or do very sneaky, conniving things and lure them in on false pretenses and take advantage of their innocence. And then once the innocence is gone forever. You shape the rest of his life, or girl, whoever it is. But in this case, the boy, you shape his life for the rest of his life. This is going to stay with him forever, you know? And to say that it was consensual, Sidney actually had to fob the kid up because it was one of those hotels where it only allow you to go on the floor that your reservation is for. But that means he went down, got the teenage boy, and then went back upstairs. And I'm like, at what point do it click like, dang, this is something I'm not supposed to be doing? You know what I mean? In most cases, this is not the first time this happened. This was done too comfortably for this to be a first time. So you have a potential pattern of predatory behavior. And, you know, because you have this incident, most likely that kid probably was at that hotel stay with family. Because unless you went and picked him up from somewhere, which it seems like he was staying at the hotel, that means you see this random boy and you decide, I'm going to approach him. And I think they supposedly exchange information from the tap on the cell phone. I don't get it, but let's move on. So I want to get into the fact that this is, I would think, is the result of people rewarding bad behavior with adults. It's like when adults do very bad things or things that's just wild, people will reward them and validate them making a poor decision. So I feel like this is repeated behavior with Sidney because Sidney does not have a clean track record when it comes to lying on people, being deceptive, taking on a narrative or doing something in benefit of Sidney and Sidney only, and to hell with who it's going to affect, right? So I know we all remember, especially if you were old enough, years back in about 2010, it was a false claim of a relationship with Chingy and Sidney Starr. So what happened was Sidney Starr was actually at a concert Chingy was performing at. I think it was a part of a meet and greet. He took the photo with Sidney Starr with the understanding Sidney Starr is a fan and they had no interaction. Sidney Starr went on to falsely accuse Chingy for being in a romantic relationship for a couple of years. Then when held to the fire years later about what you did to him and things like that and how that damaged his career, is like, Chingy was falling off. I revived him. And, you know, kind of like attitude, okay, I'm sorry. You know, what now kind of attitude. Then you give some BS apology to him because if he had the right people around him at the time, Sidney Starr should have been sued for defamation of character. That's a classic case of defamation of character. You spread something publicly and you lie, and that lie ruins someone's ability to make money. So in this case, you made him miss out on deals where he had the potential to make a lot of money, get a new record deal, and his reputation, because now people don't want to be cool with him or in proximity of him because of your lie that these same people and platforms gave opportunity for you to spread the lie, but did not go to verify anything with him. You know, when people continue to reward bad behavior in adults, they think they got away with something once, they're going to keep doing it. So you lied on Chingy years ago, and who knows all the things you have done that maybe is not public record. You know, I'm sure you have offended many more besides this young man, and you have done really bad things to people, because every time your name comes up is in a way that coddles Sidney Starr and make them think that what they're doing, how they're carrying on is cute. You can't reward bad behavior, even in adults. Here's what we know. We know a child is the alleged victim. An adult is in custody without a bond, facing 3 serious felony charges. So that's what I gotta say. So we'll follow it as it moves, not to feed the outrage cycle, but because accountability is real and it deserves to be tracked all the way through.